So we've got a new Ade Asks interview coming up now, and this time we're letting the players and the management of the current squad have a bit of a break. So joining us, I'm delighted to say, is ex-Slough Town manager Brian McDermott. Brian, thank you for joining us. How are you?
Adrian, nice, good, very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. Are you working today or are you at home?
No, just I've been working from home actually since March. Obviously working at Arsenal, international scout at Arsenal, so travelling everywhere. So we obviously can't travel with the coronavirus. So yeah, we do a lot of our work. We got the system where we can watch a lot of players at home. So yeah, there you go.
Excellent. Thank you for doing the interview. I did put loads of questions out. I said, people, look, ask whatever you said to me. You'll answer anything. That's what I've done. So we've got a vast array of questions. I'm going to start with your playing career first, because you were born in Slough.
Yeah.
And you represented Slough Schoolboys. It must be the biggest game at Wexham Park against Liverpool Schoolboys. How was that?
Well, it wasn't great because we got beat. We lost. We won one. We lost 4-2 at Anfield, and then we went back to Slough. There was 6,000 there, and we won 1-0. So we got beat 4-3 on aggregate. But I like those days. Had a great time. That was packed that night. We used to get 2,000 and 3,000 watching us, in the lead up to the games, and lead up to the final. And in the final, 6,000. Brilliant atmosphere. It's full house, and it's a shame we couldn't win it. But we had a good team, really, really good team. Paul Walker and Graham Mascoy and Daniels and some great lads who've done really well for themselves. So no, I love those days. They were great.
And I guess it must have been quite a shock as at that age going up to Anfield and compared to Wexham Park.
Yeah, it was great playing at Anfield. I scored a couple of goals that night. We won 4-2 and I scored 2 goals that night. So it was nice to score at Anfield. I never scored at Anfield in my professional career, although I won there as a manager. No, it was listen. It was all a great experience, a really enjoyable experience, and lovely. The managers were good, Phil Darren, and he was really good, and Dave who worked with him, and just nice people. Nice squad was good, lovely atmosphere around the place, and I kind of remember it really quite well. Most of the games, I was only 14 at the time, so yeah, it was nice days.
And of course, you had a reunion not so long ago, didn't you, at Arbour Park? So it must have been nice to catch up with the guys again.
Yeah, it was great. I haven't seen them for such a long time, and they all look well. They weren't all there, but most of them were there. So it just shows how time just does fly. But it was a special time for Slough Schoolboys, or for Slough and the football at that time. Because I grew up as a ball boy at Slough Town at the Godolphin, and Stadium. I was 8 years of age, stood behind the goal at Slough Town. So yeah, they were good days, happy days.
Yeah, we'll get on to your Slough Town career in a little while, but let's talk again about your playing career. You played at Arsenal, obviously. That must have been good times, but didn't you have a loan spell in Sweden and got Player of the Year as well?
Yeah, 84. In 84, I had a loan spell in Sweden, I really enjoyed it, actually. I got Player of the Year in the country that time. And, I was there for a summer, really. But I had a fabulous time, absolute fabulous time. And yeah, I was 23 years of age. I'd left Arsenal to go there on loan because I wasn't getting enough games at Arsenal at the time. So I played all the games in that time. And yeah, that was another really special time. I really enjoyed it there.
Do you think that many players now actually miss out on that? Because not many clubs really loan, is a big thing in those days because there wasn't many players getting into the team. There's only a squad of maybe 20 odd. It's an ideal opportunity. Do you think the clubs don't do that as much nowadays?
No, they don't do it as much these days. A lot of players play a lot of, or not, as the case may be, under 23 football, and they don't get the chance to play first team football. I would recommend it. If you're not playing first team football, you need to be playing, and just not playing once every. These guys play once every 2 months now. If you're playing first team football, you're playing twice, 3 times a week, and you know, and in my later career, that's what it was all about. It was playing all the time. You know, when I played at Cardiff, played all the time. At Exeter, played all the time, and we got promotions. And just being part of a team and a squad that wins something, it's just special as a player.
You were lucky to win 2 champions. You won with Oxford United, and then with Exeter as well. Which was there any difference between the two?
Oxford. I played the back end of the season because I arrived there in '84 in Christmas time, and I played the back end of the season, so I didn't play the whole season, but we won the league. Exeter, I played all the games and we won the league, so that was special. And I won the promotion at Cardiff as well and played all the games. So I've got, as a player, I was fortunate enough to have 3 promotions. So yeah, you know, they're all, listen, getting promotion with as a member of staff, as a manager or as a player, you can't beat it because it's over a season, you know. So yeah, they were all good times, and living in Exeter was nice, and Cardiff was good, and you know, I didn't have to move when I went to Oxford. But I've been very blessed in my career, really very blessed.
Is there a particular one that you'd pick out of the 3 promotions?
So they're all different. They're all special for different reasons. You know, Oxford was my first medal as far as winning a promotion. Cardiff was special because I played all the games bar 1 in the league, and Exeter was probably the time I played my best football under Terry Cooper, and I loved Terry Cooper as a manager. He was a great manager, and with Cardiff I was under Frank Burrows, and I learned how to be a team player under Frank when I was 26 years of age, and he taught me a lot. Oxford was under Jim Smith, and he was different. He was a real big character, Jim Smith, and you know, if he weren't happy at half time, you knew about it. But no, all of them were special for different reasons.
Was there any time during those times when you looked at yourself and thought, I wouldn't mind being a manager in my later career? Was there a time that you just thought, I could do that?
No, not really. Never thought about it. I've got to be honest. I didn't. I was just playing, and I never thought too much about coaching or career after football at that stage. And I was getting on at that time, 28, 29. I'd maybe done one of my badges as far as my coaching badges were concerned. But no, not really. I don't think I was even thinking about. I mean, I've been fortunate that I've been in football all my life, but things have just seemed to fall my way. I've been lucky in as much as that things have fallen into my lap, and I've always stayed in football.
Excellent. Let's go to your managerial career, because that's going to have a fair few talking points, I would gather. Let's start with your time at Reading. You took over from Brendan Rodgers, and in one of your first games, you won at Liverpool for the first time in the club's history. That must have been some kind of boost for you, thinking, oh, this is easy.
It certainly wasn't easy, but my start of we were second bottom of the league when I took over, and we were struggling a bit. And I was caretaker manager. First 2 games, one was Bristol City, one was Swansea. We drew them both. Third game was Plymouth away. We got smashed 4-1. And my next game was with Liverpool, against Liverpool at Medeski. And obviously, I'd taken 2 points from 3 games. I hadn't done particularly great as a manager, and I'm trying to, I want the job. I'm caretaker manager at the time, and I have to go to Anfield, or we have to play at Anfield. So we draw 1-1 at Liverpool. The next game's against Newcastle. Fortunately, it was called off, because that could have been another defeat in the league. The next game, then we go up to Anfield, and everyone thought we were going to get beat 5-0. And we won 2-1. And actually, we won well. We deserved to win the game. Shane Long came on. And Shane was young at the time, and he came on and scored the winner. And we deserved to win. And Rafael Benitez was manager. And then I got the job. I got the manager's job. Didn't get announced. We then lose the next 2 league games. So that's 5 games now. And I've got like 2 points from 5 games. They announced me as the manager, and I don't think it went down particularly well with the fans, to be honest. I think they might have thought I got lucky. In the meantime, we'd beaten Burnley in the Cup, so I was doing all right in the Cup, but we were still bottom of the league. So look, it came out all right. We started to win a few games when I got the job, and I think we won 8 on the spin after that, and we got ourselves safe and got to the quarter-final of the Cup.
And then you've got, after that, you do another great year. You get to the playoff final, but unfortunately lose to the person that you took over from in Swansea with Brendan Rodgers in charge.
Yeah, great game of football, if you like, that sort of thing. It was we were 3-0 down at half-time, and I thought, wow. I never thought we'd lose. I thought we'd win the game. Even at half-time, I thought we was in with a shout, and we got back to 3-1, got back to 3-2. We actually hit the post. It came back to Noel Hunt, and Noel had a shot which Gary Monk cleared off the line. Would have made it 3-0, and we'd have gone on to win, I'm sure. It was tough. I mean, I saw the guys last night, Fulham, Brentford, and tough to lose that game. I wouldn't recommend going to Wembley and losing. It's not the way forward. Having said that, great run. The lads were great, really good experience, and then we lost 3 really good players. I mean, Shane Long went, Matt Mills went, Zurab Kishnavili went. So we lost 3 main players, and we had to rebuild again for the following year.
But the following year, you did something. You got Reading promoted to the Premier League. That must have been heck of a. Didn't you win something like 15 out of your last 17 games?
Yeah, we won an extraordinary amount of games. You just kept winning, and we won 15, I think, out of 17, whatever it was. Lost 1, drew 1, and we just came from nowhere. We were like 12th in the league, and we were just getting up the league, and we just kept looking at each game and winning each game, and there came a time we got into the playoff position. I thought we got a chance here. We got momentum. We did have momentum. We couldn't lose. We just kept winning. And, when you get on a run like that, it's a winning run or a losing run, it's hard to get off it. And we kept going. And we were 0-0 80 minutes and winning games and nicking games late on. But it was a great bunch of people. Great. The staff were fabulous. Players were really, really right on it all the time. And they believed. They believed just that we would do something, even though we never said it. And then eventually we won at Southampton, and then we beat Forest, and West Ham were drawn, and that was it. We were up.
Did you have Gylfi Sigurdsson playing for you at that time?
2 years before Gylfi. Gylfi had gone 2 years previous to that, to be honest. He'd gone. So we lost him as well. We sold him to Hoffenheim for 7 million. Because we needed the money, and so we didn't. But Gylfi, massive talent. I've known Gylfi since he was 14 years of age. What a talent he is!
So, is that getting ready into the Premier League? Is that your greatest achievement?
I suppose if you look at it on paper, it would be, yeah, as a manager. Yeah, and just being around really. Just a lovely bunch of people and a great spirit. I look back at it now. At the time, I never sort of looked at it really. I just, because you're always in the moment. I saw this interview with Scott Parker last night, and Dean Smith and managers, and talking about relief, just the relief of winning, and you get them move on to the next game, and that's the most important thing. But I'd say that was probably the pinnacle really to win promotion, and after that, managing the Premier League.
During your first spell with Reading, you were in a crazy game. So Slough fans will know that away to Merthyr back in October of 2017, we were 4 down at half time and managed to win 4-5. You kind of did the opposite in the League Cup, didn't you? You were 4-0 up against Arsenal, 4-4 at the end, and then lost 7-5. How did you feel when that was going on?
It's funny, actually. People say to me, "Were you manager in that game when Arsenal, you were winning 4-0 at Reading?" And I was like, "Yeah." You're well known for a game that you don't want to be well known for. Actually, the game was brilliant. We played so well. First half, we were 4-0 up, could have been 6 up. They scored just before half time. And obviously, Arsenal being Arsenal, they're not just going to lie down. They had a top bunch of players. We got back to 4-2, and they scored late. And the last goal must have been well over extra injury time, and to get it back to 4-4, went into extra time, and it went to 5-4, and then we went to 5-5, and then they scored again. And it was a nuts game, absolute nuts game. But it's a good game, but not to be recommended as a football manager. And it's kind of them one-off games that you get now and again. It's a freak game and a freak result. And it just so happens that it was against Arsenal, the team I played for, and my team.
Did you, like, the next week or next couple of days after, like, rerun the game and look at it and think, "Oh my word, what did we do there?" Or was it it was just a great game of football?
No, I didn't really, because I think to myself, you can beat yourself up over these results, and if as a manager, sometimes you just have to leave it behind you, and that's what we did. I left it behind me. I met the chairman the next day. We went out in London. Everyone was coming up to me in London talking about the game. So the most important thing for me was to just leave it behind, and I did that.
Excellent. I wanted to talk, because obviously there's a lot of talk about managers and who's the best manager and stuff like that. But you did actually win the League Manager of the Year for the Championship when you won. Is that something that you regard as a trophy like quite high? Because, you know, that's voted other managers. You all know what you go through. That's a heck of an achievement to get that.
No, I was delighted to get that. I mean, I won the Manager of the Year that year, and I was in the top 6 for the manager and the Manager of the Year, full stop, of all the divisions. And you know, I was in good company. You know, top managers were in that year, and I think it was Alex Ferguson and Brendan was in it, Brendan Rodgers, and Mancini was in it. So I was in the top 6 of that as well. So yeah, I was in very good company. So yeah, look, to win the Championship Manager of the Year was a massive honour, and it got presented to me by Roy Hodgson. So yeah, I was very fortunate to win that. But to win a Manager of the Year, you have to have great staff, you have to have great players, and I had all that, and great support from the fans as well.
Excellent. Let's talk about Leeds. We've got quite a few Leeds fans in the Slough ranks. You did say you're going to talk about anything. Let's just put the name out there, Massimo Cellino. How mad was that spell when he came in?
Well, Leeds is an incredible football club, and unless you know Leeds, the supporters, the area, the club, it's difficult to describe. My friend said to me, when you've managed in the north with someone like Sunderland or Newcastle or Leeds, then you'll understand. It's different, and it's different. It's really, I mean, it's life. It's real life and death. I mean, I know it is for Reading fans and Slough fans, and you know, whoever that might be. But it seemed to be, and Leeds is everyone who lives in Leeds supports Leeds, you know, and I lived in Harrogate. A lot of people supported Leeds in Harrogate. Got a lot of time for the fans there. They were turning up all the time, and they were having tough times. And that year, we started the season. It wasn't the greatest team in the world. We needed to build something, but we were like 4th, 5th in the league on Boxing Day. If we'd have won, we'd have gone to 4th. So Massimo Cellino came in. He was going to take the football club over. Things, from my point of view and his point of view, I didn't know him. Didn't start particularly well. I lost a real bad defeat against Sheffield Wednesday. Got beat 6-0 on the telly, which was horrible. Got beat by Rochdale in the FA Cup in the January. So that was horrible. And it didn't settle, and there was a lot of instability at the football club. And he took the club over in actually March. Previous to that, they tried to sack me. He tried to sack me before he even owned the club. And then I was reinstated. But it was just a mad time, really a bonkers time, completely. And I just tried to do the best I could in a very unstable environment. He took the club on in the last 5 games. I think we won 3, drew 1, and lost 1. And I lost my job at the end of that season because I knew it was coming, and he was wanting to bring in his own guy, and he did that. But Leeds, nothing but good to say about that football club. I'm so pleased that they've got up. Those fans deserve everything they get. You know, they're a fantastic fan base, and they've had to put up with a lot of stuff in the last 15 years or so. So, yeah, Bielsa's gone in there and done a wonderful job. So good luck to him, and good luck to their players and fans.
Do you think part of it is that when managers go there, they don't actually just realise how much football and that football club means when you go to Leeds? Do you think that some managers just go there and think, oh, it's a payday, it's Leeds, big club? But you've got to work to be successful there, haven't you?
Yeah, I don't think you go there for a payday. You know, when you get in amongst the Leeds people, I think all the managers that went there were trying to get them back to the Premier League. That was the key, and that would have been my ambition. That was my ambition. It would have been anyone who'd come after me, anyone who'd come before me, just to try to get those supporters and that club back to the Premier League. And he's done it now, Bielsa. And that would have been it, really, from my point of view, because it is It's a one-off. It really is a one-off football club. It really is. It's you see Leeds fans everywhere. They are everywhere. They really are.
And even when you come to Slough or anywhere and you'll see Leeds fans, they always, no matter how long they've left Yorkshire and the area, they are always still Leeds fans. You don't see many Leeds fans swapping allegiances to another club, do you?
No, Leeds. That's what it is. It's all, and it's no. You don't. If you're a Leeds fan, you're a Leeds fan. You can't be anything else, and that's how it is. It don't matter where you live. You live in Ireland, you live in Russia, you live in Slough. It doesn't matter where you live. If you're Leeds, you're Leeds, and they are a unique bunch. They really, really are.
Right, let's come on to your time at Slough then. Another interesting time. How did you actually get the job? Did you come in as a player under Dave Russell? Was that the idea, or was it you come in as a manager?
No, Dave left, and I came in as I was running the football in the community at the time. I was running football in the community scheme. Bob Breen was there as chief executive, and Dave left with Laurie Craker. Dave and I took over from Dave. So I don't even remember what year that was. I remember my first game was against 80s.
96.
96. Yeah, so it was 96. My first game, I remember, I think it was against Farnborough away. And if I'm not mistaken, we won 1-0, and I think Cliff Hercules scored.
Yep, he did.
There you go. So no, we did pretty well at Slough, and I really enjoyed it. You got to remember, I was born and brought up in Slough, and being a ball boy at Slough at the Dolphin Stadium, incredible to be managing Slough as a manager. And listen, I wasn't looking to be a manager, but that's what happened.
So did you just agree to take it on until the end of the season? Because if you didn't have desires to be a manager, you stayed for another 2 years.
No, I didn't agree anything. I just agreed to do it, and I don't know what. I don't remember the contract I signed, but I must have signed a contract which said 2 or 3 years, whatever it was. Can't remember. And we were pretty successful. We were a decent team. We got to the semi-final of the trophy. Never forget that game, because I was always desperate to get to Wembley as a player, and I never got there. Then as a manager, I thought I've got a chance here. And we get to the first leg of that game. Was it Southport? We had a game. And we lose. And then we draw the second leg in a goal that was, I think the goal was offside or whatever. Anyway, I was desperately upset, really upset to lose that game and not get us to Wembley, because I wanted to go back. And the last time Slough at Wembley was at 73 against Walton and Hersham.
Yep.
And I wanted to emulate that, but go one better and win.
Because the first season was a bit of a mixed season. You had a few players, but you had Lloyd Owusu introduced Lloyd into the team through the ranks. And is that where you first got your kind of thing of spotting talent? Was that part of what allowed you to bring these youngsters in and guide them?
I just listen, Lloydie. I'll tell you a story about Lloydie. So Lloydie was one of the younger players coming through. We had a number of 4 or 5 younger players coming through at the time, and I brought Lloydie to make his debut in against Telford. And I'll never forget. I brought him into the boardroom, and I said, "Lloydie, you better do well today, because I'm leaving a legend out for you. I'm leaving Mark West out. So you better do well." We won 6-0, and he scored 4. And that was Lloydie. Kind of summed up Lloydie's career. I love Lloydie. He's a great lad. I'm still in touch with Lloydie. Lovely, lovely fella. And he's had such a great career, but he scored 4 in his debut. So, yeah, he did really well for himself. And we eventually sold him to Brentford. And his career, he went from strength to strength.
I've got to say, when I that season that you went to the semi-finals and you finished 8th in the league, we'll talk about a little bit more about that. But the game that I remember most was actually the second game of the season. We were at home to Rushden and Diamonds.
5-0.
Tuesday night, they'd come up with all this money and, were expecting to walk the league, paying big money like that. And it was a Tuesday night in Slough, and absolutely battered them 5-0. It was mostly one of the best experiences of a game that I've seen, because no one expected it, maybe apart from you. But
I didn't expect to win 5-0.
A great team at the time.
No, to be honest, we did so well. The first game we won 4-1 against someone. Can't remember. And the second game was Rushden, and we absolutely smashed them. I mean, you know, Danny Bolt was playing, Danny Bailey was playing. I had Terry Angus, Gary McGuinness. And Gary McGuinness was an interesting story. So Gary McGuinness came off the street into Slough Town's offices. Eddie was in the front, and he gave his CV to Eddie, the secretary, and he left. And Eddie gave me the CV of Gary McGuinness. And I looked at it, and he was a Dundee United player. And my mate was a big Dundee United fan. So I rang my mate. I said, "What's he like, Gary McGuinness?" He said, "Oh, he's a good player." So I rang Gary, and we were playing against Chelsea on the Saturday. And I said, "Gary, come down." He trained with us on Thursday. I thought, he looks all right. And then I put him in the team for the Chelsea game. He was outstanding, and we signed him on a 2-year contract. Literally walked off the street. Talk about scouting. He walked in off the street, and that was it. And he did great for us. He did really well. But no, the Rushden game, yeah, fabulous. I mean, we started that season really well. And no, we had a good team, really good team.
Is one of your biggest disappointments in that game at South, because the away leg was fantastic, where it was 1-1. I don't know how I lost. I really don't know how we lost that game.
The first game, I'll tell you what we had. I think we had injuries. We had about suspensions for fun. I think we had 5 regulars missing in the first game. And we got beat 1-0. And the second game, honestly, I remember big wind in the game. There was a real big wind. And we murdered them. And we should have won 2 or 3 or 4-0 up there. So, I mean, I got sent off. The only time in my career to get sent off as a manager. So I was sent off in that game because the referee was not the best. But that was real upsetting. I really wanted to bring Slough to the FA Cup, to the trophy, and try and emulate 73, but not to be.
So you must have finished that season thinking, I've got the foundations of a really good team. I think I could, put a couple of targets in. And then all hell breaks loose. I don't know, you've got more of a story to tell than I would know, but not enough seats, get relegated, and then it all goes wrong from there. What was it from your view?
Well, the chairman wasn't well, Alan Thorne. He was in hospital at the time. And his son was kind of, I think, making a lot of the decisions at the time. We needed to put 46 seats into the stadium to stay at conference level, and it wasn't done. So we were obviously demoted from the conference, and I was tasked with finding clubs for all the players. So we had to sell the players. We were selling players. Lloyd went to Brentford, and Matt Stoll went to Bristol City, I think, and everyone was going anyway. And I ended up going as well. It was really sad times. I mean, we had a good team. We had another year with that team, probably another year, because we had a lot of older players, but another year to have a right good crack at it. But it wasn't to be, and that was such a shame, because that was a good team, really good team, solid, strong team, sort of team you needed in the conference in those days.
Yeah, Cliff Hercules, obviously a crowd favourite, but started his career at Aylesbury as a striker. Did you turn him into a commanding goal-scoring centre-back?
Yeah, I turned him in from a goal scorer to a centre-half, blocking and heading shots. It was Cliff, Terry and Gary McGuinness at centre-halves, with 3 centre-halves, Paul Hardiman and Gary Smart. So our back 5 was really experienced, ex-professionals, experienced people. And they were so solid, knew what was required. Danny Bailey midfield, Gary Brazil, Danny Bolt, Gary Abbott, Lloyd Owusu, Westy. That was it. And, Bolty was a really good player, great left foot. Gary Abbott, goal scoring machine, absolute goal scoring machine at non-league level. Westy the same. Lloydie was a good younger player coming through. So, yeah, we had a lot of good ingredients. We had a good 11, 12, 13, and then we needed to add to that.
Is that like something, do you begrudge what happened? Do you look back and think, if only we had another season, or do you not hold any grudges?
No point, Adrian. I don't begrudge anything. What happened at the time happened for whatever reason, and the decisions were made above me, and not a lot we could do. I still speak to some of the players back in that day. I spoke to Danny Bailey recently, and they loved their time, and I loved my time at Slough. but we can't look back and begrudge it. You know, you just look at it now. I always look at the results now, and I just want them to get back to where they were, you know, in the conference and being a big non-league side. And let's hope that these guys can get them back. I really like the managers there, the two of them. They're really good, and I like the setup. So, yeah, I hope that one day they can get up there.
You've obviously been to the ground. You like the ground as well as a non-league ground?
I don't like the pitch particularly, but that's just me. You know, it's the AstroTurf. The ground is the ground. Look, at one point we didn't have a ground, so I didn't have a ground. So, yeah, you should be grateful to have a ground. And you know, I like Wrexham Park. It was a really good atmosphere there, and it's still overgrown down there. Nothing not being used, which is a sad state of affairs. But listen, at least the ground's in Slough, and I think that's important.
Right, some quickfire ones. These are more from the fans kind of thing. Best player you've played with, best player you've played against?
Best player I played against, Kenny Dalglish. Best player I've played with, Liam Brady.
Okay. Best player that you've brought through or you've scouted?
Probably Shane Long.
Best ground?
Best ground I've played at or managed at?
Whichever.
Anfield. I would Anfield. Played at Highbury. I loved Highbury when I played there. But I would imagine Anfield for atmosphere, etc.
Is there a best moment out of all your career that if you could put one up there that would be your main moment?
Probably winning at Southampton on a Friday night. We were 1-1 and Adam Lafondra scored 2 goals off the bench. We won away from home at Southampton on a Friday night. Great atmosphere, fans, full house. And at that point I thought, I think we're going to get promoted.
How different is it for you now because you're obviously a scout? Do you miss being a manager? Is there any desire ever to go back, or are you happy as you are?
I don't really miss anything. I just feel blessed that I've got a great job. I'm in an environment where I'm still in football, and I'm in and around that environment. You know, I never say never to any job. Really, we'll see what happens in the future. But I'm grateful to all. I mean, I've managed 450 odd games and played 300 odd games as a player. So it's a lot of games, and I've scouted 1,000 games plus. So, look, if you're in football, you're a lucky man, and I'm very lucky.
Okay. Just talk a little bit about the scouting and stuff. Is it different now for players, all the money they're on? Do you have to look at something different rather than just ability? Do you have to look at the mental side as well when you're choosing a player? Because you must see thousands of players who are technically brilliant, but you've got to look for something different, haven't you?
We have to find out about them. That's the key. You know, I think that's massively important. Look at Liverpool. You know, if you look at Liverpool's team, you look at their team and you go through it yourself and you'll say, well, actually, he's a solid character. He's a solid character. Look at the midfield players, you know, Henderson, Ronaldo, Fabinho, all solid characters. Milner, you know, that's what you've got. And you've got people that want to run and want to work and want to do the ugly side of the game, and they'll do that. They'll do, and all the best teams have got players like that. My team at Reading, top guys, all would really put themselves out for the team, for me, for themselves, and you know they were just great people. Slough players, all the same, just great lads. I always would go for someone with maybe not as much ability, but a top character. I think that always comes out on top.
Do you think that's the hardest part for the players? Is the fact that obviously when you were young, there was maybe a smaller amount. You maybe got a chance, you know, like you said, go on loan. You said these players now, they maybe don't play so often. It's got to be quite hard for them. You know,
that's a problem for me, because playing in first team football, whatever level, is the be all and end all. You know, they need to play games. And sometimes they play too many games at academy level, under 23 level, where the points don't matter. And when it comes, they get loaned out from a Premier League side to a League One side, they can't hack it. So you've got to be able to learn to play for points, because, you know, lower league, it's life and death. You know, you're playing for your mortgages down there.
Excellent. Brian, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Thank you for taking time out of your time. It's great to join. Thank you for having us, and best of luck for the future.
Great stuff. Always nice to talk to someone from Slough Town.
Excellent. Cheers, Brian.
Take care.